Hi, I'm Deborah O'Kelly of Golden Girl Granola, and we've been fortunate enough to have Brian Miglorino working for us for the past few months, since October actually, as a baker. And now he's about to embark on an amazing journey on the West Coast, doing the Pacific Crest Trail. He's no stranger to hiking. I guess you did the Appalachian Trail a while back?
In 2016.
Okay. And so what makes you want to hike those long distances?
I think a lot of it just stems from wanting to push myself physically and mentally. So for me, I feel like that's kind of what the AT gave me, was more of a sense of a drive to push myself more and push through adversity and come out the other side with a stronger sense of who I am. And I feel like that sort of thing can be applied to anything in life, like starting a new job or meeting new people, starting a new relationship, just trying new things. You come out the other side with more attributes for your personality, or it just kind of helps you evolve as a person. So I think that's kind of my main goal with embarking on adventures like this.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That would explain your wonderful outlook on life. From the minute I met you, I knew you were a terrific person. We really enjoyed having you. So how will the Pacific Crest Trail be different from the Appalachian?
So the Appalachian Trail is commonly referred to as the Green Tunnel. So it's mostly dense forest the whole way, with not a lot of, you do have views, but for the most part you're just in the woods. And it's like that the whole way, but on the Pacific Crest Trail you run through a variety of different landscapes, from open desert landscape to high alpine mountains to dense forest. So it's really versatile. And in terms of trail population, a lot more people do the Appalachian Trail than the Pacific Crest Trail. So I'll be running into fewer people. Things like water in the desert will be a little more scarce than on the AT, because obviously there's less rainfall. So it's definitely different, but I think the overall adventure itself, waking up and hiking every day and sleeping somewhere new every night, that's, for me personally, since I have the AT under my belt, that's not going to be a new thing. But there's definitely some similarities and differences to both trails.
I'm curious, Brian, about how you go about preparing for this kind of hike. Like, what do you bring with you, and how do you prepare physically too? There's
really not much you can do physically to prepare for something like this. It's just kind of something that you have to start out, and there's a long process your body goes through in the first couple of months. I learned on the AT, it's gonna hurt in the beginning physically, but after a while, you start to build up the muscle and the physical stamina required to get up and hike every single day. So like on the AT, I started out doing 8 to 12 miles a day, and that gradually increased, and by the end I was doing 25 and 25 plus every day. So it's just kind of something you have to work your body into. But a wide range of people do these trails from all different backgrounds and physical abilities. So
is the trail longer, the Pacific Trail?
So the Appalachian Trail is 2,189 miles, and the Pacific Crest Trail is 2,650 miles.
Okay.
So it's not too much longer, but it takes roughly the same amount of time to hike. So on the AT, there are a lot more rocks, roots, and mud, and less switchbacks going up the mountain. So it's kind of just like straight up and down. But the PCT, the entire trail, is graded for pack mules. So you can bring your mules along the entire length of the trail. So it's really well graded and kind of switchbacks up these long peaks. So people tend to be able to do more miles per day on the PCT, so it takes roughly the same amount of time than the AT, even though the AT is a little shorter.
Have you seen any bits of it?
Not yet, no. Nope. This is just from research that I've done.
Yeah. So what will you be carrying with you?
So they have, for backpacking, they have something called the Big Four, and that consists of your shelter, so a tent or a hammock or, you know, a tarp, whatever you're going to be using, your backpack, your sleeping bag, and your sleeping pad. So those are the four main components of what's going to be in my pack, and that's what's going to be taking up the most weight. But aside from the Big Four, you know, there's clothing, which you only really need one set of clothing, which sounds kind of gross, but you know, when you get into town, you can do laundry.
Yeah, how often do you get into town?
Roughly once a week.
Okay.
So it requires you to get off trail and hitchhike into town, depending on where you are.
Oh, okay, but you know in advance what town you're getting there.
Yeah. So I'll be using my phone for navigation, and so I can look on the map and find a road that leads to the closest town, and then just hitchhike my way from there.
Do you get to take showers in between?
Yeah, so when I get into towns, I can stay. A lot of them will have hotels or like hiker hostels that are run specifically for people who are through hiking. So.
But not so much in between.
No.
Unless there's a.
Yeah, people don't usually wash clothes or bathe in the streams. It's usually kind of just, you know, you wait till you get to town to do that.
Yeah, why wouldn't you bathe in a stream?
I think that stems from something called LNT, which is leave no trace. And a lot of people, you know, when you find something in nature, you want to leave it the way you found it,
Sure.
and you want to lessen your impact as much as possible. So, you know, there are thousands of people who hike these trails every year. So if everybody goes out there and, you know, is washing themselves in this particular stream, or if the water's stagnant or something, and everybody's, you know, washing their shirts or their underwear in it, you know, it's just not.
What do you eat along the trail?
So it's a pretty basic diet. Trail food is, you know, it's supposed to be lightweight and easily packable, so it's a lot of granola bars and trail mixes, and, you know, granola.
Well, good.
And, you know, protein bars. That usually consists of breakfast and lunch for me. I also eat a lot of peanut butter and tortillas and things like that. But for dinner, it's usually things like ramen noodles or instant potatoes or rice sides. So things that are
starchy things.
Yeah, usually. And then when you get into town, that's when you eat your vegetables and stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of people out there that also they'll dehydrate meals beforehand, so they get, you know, sufficient nutrients when they're out there. But a lot of people, like me, you know, we tend to go out there and we wing it. So we're not going to be eating the most nutritious food on trail. But you know, when you get into town, you know, roughly once a week, you can kind of load up on vegetables then and fresh fruits, and then when you're out on the trail, you kind of just eat to get the calories enough to hike.
Do you ever eat anything from the wild, berries or anything like that?
On the Appalachian Trail, I did have some blueberries and blackberries, like up in Maine and New Hampshire. So that was nice, but I definitely wouldn't rely on that in any capacity to sustain myself.
Well, we'll make sure we send you granola at all the towns that you're going to pass through.
Before you head out, Golden Girl Granola would like to give you this check for $500 to help you with your expenses if you are about to travel. We're very happy to have you listening for you, and we would be very missed.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Thank you.